Right guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today. For this one, we are going to do another out and about video for you. So today, I am in Nagoya in Aichi Prefecture here in Japan, and we're going to visit this place behind me, which is somewhere that I've wanted to go for quite some time. So this is Y Market Brewing Kitchen, and of course, Y Market are one of the more old school Japanese craft breweries, but they do some very nice stuff, and as I say, I've wanted to come and visit here for quite a long time. This will be quite an interesting video because we will go and check out their other location as well very quickly, but yeah, the main focus will be on this particular location. But let's get started. As always, I hope you guys enjoy this one. There is a special guest in this video as well. You probably know who it is already, but let's do this. Y Market Brewing here in Nagoya, Aichi, Japan. Let's do this. Alright guys, so yeah, this is the exterior of Y Market Brewing. This is a 3-4 story building actually, and Y Market Brewing of course stands for Yanagibashi Market, so basically Willow Bridge Market Brewing. This is an old kind of fish market area from what I understand, hence the name Y Market. But yeah, this is their original brewing site. You can see the original brewery is just kind of in here, and yeah, the pub Y Market Kitchen, as this is known, is on the second floor, and then they have a terrace up on the top floor. But there you can see it's quite nicely labelled with beer, so which is always very inviting. So yeah, let's go in and head upstairs and you'll meet the special guest. But there you can see, yeah, they have the brewery on the first floor, pub and kitchen on the second, then the third floor party terrace up there as well. But you can get just a little view of the brewing equipment and things in here. They do have a larger production brewery now. Don't know how well you can see that, of course. Maybe we can sweet talk them to let us in and have a little look later. But yeah, they've got a larger production brewery these days as well. There you can see, yeah, these are the opening times, of course. But it is quite busy today, I'll say. There you can see all the Y Market Brewing mini kegs. Those must be like 20 litres or something. And there you've got the bigger ones. Climb the ladder to get the beer. So yeah, they also tell you about the brewing process here. The malt mill, the mash tun, the lauter tun, the brew kettle, whirlpool, heat exchanger, fermenter, the bright beer tun, then kegging, then serving, and cheers. I quite like that, but there you go. So yeah, let's head up the stairs. We'll just look at the first floor for the moment, of course, because we haven't asked them if we can go up and have a wee look at the other floor. So yeah, second floor, you come in like this, and yeah, the place is really nice. I'd just like to have a little look around, but we'll have a wee look at the menu and stuff too. So yeah, you can see rotisserie chicken here. So yeah, this place is really very nice if you look around. And as you can see, we have our special guest here, Jordan in Japan. There we go. So yeah, as you can see, quite busy today, but a really nice vibe around the place, menus and stuff like that. So yeah, really nice. But yeah, we're going to order some beer and get started, eh? There we go. Good. Let's do it. Alright guys, well, time for our first beer tasting then here at Y Market Kitchen. So yeah, we decided to come outside because we got a little bit of a surprise when we came upstairs, just with how busy it was. But apparently today is the official start of the holidays for Japanese
That's
companies.
right. From tomorrow, everything shuts down for the holidays, but a lot of people take the afternoon off today. So I think this afternoon is sort of the unofficial start of the holidays. So yeah, we have all the early holiday takers are in here drinking right now.
Can't blame them.
Yeah.
Japanese work culture is not
no
fun.
kidding.
Yeah, but yeah, so we decided to come outside, and we've actually got a nice little tempo right in front of us. I'll show you guys that in a little minute. But yeah, we wanted to start with one of the absolute classics from Y Market Brewing. So yeah, our first beer is this guy, Hysteric IPA. So this one comes in at 7% ABV. They just call it American IPA. It is kind of West Coasty, but when we talk about American IPAs, you have to be a bit more generic because some of them have like a bit of wheat or a bit of oat or something like that in them. So sometimes somewhere between the New England and the West Coast to be just for full disclosure or whatever. But this one has Simcoe, Citra, Chinook, Motueka and Mosaic. So Motueka, of course, is a New Zealand hop. The rest of them are American. Simcoe's going to give you lovely passion fruity notes. Citra's going to give you a lot of peach and mango and stuff like that. Chinook is going to give you that big grapefruit and piney resinous quality. Motueka is going to give you a lot of lime, and then Mosaic is going to give you tangerine. But you can see the beer pours this lovely kind of, I would say, dark, almost PP yellow colour, this one. It's got a lovely little touch of natural haze to it. It's probably got a little bit of wheat or a little touch of oat in it or something like that. Could also just be unfiltered if you look at it.
That's possible.
Yeah, could also just be unfiltered. You can see that if I put my fingers behind the glass. But yeah, not too much in the way of visible carbonation. Incidentally, this measure is 330 millilitres. There's quite a few interesting things on the menu, so we thought we'd go with the smaller sizes and review more.
Yeah.
But this one looks pretty nice. Kind of the colour that I remembered as well. I don't think it's changed all that much.
It looks a lot darker on the camera.
Oh yeah, it does look a lot darker on the camera than it is, but maybe that's just the way the lighting goes. But yeah, nothing else we really need to say about the appearance of this one. Will we do the nose?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've often said that Y Market beers have this little bit of a more oily and sweet character to them, and you can smell that in here from the malty base right away, I think. But it smells so smooth as well, so smooth. Backbone for me, white ready bread crust. There's a teeny little bit of cracker in there, but not overly much. There's a little bit of like sweet white bread and a tiny little touch of brown bread. The malt base is quite simple in this, but maybe a little bit of like, I don't know if I want to say caramel, I want to say more like butterscotch, like Werther's Original.
I would say butterscotch rather than caramel, sure.
But it smells oily. It really smells very oily.
The buttery, like that's when you said butterscotch, it has a very buttery, rich smell. I'm getting, jumping to fruit always, but
that's what I was just going to ask you.
Lychee's jumping on me right away.
Lychee, I can get that. A little bit of like gooseberry almost as well.
Sure. Sorry, what are gooseberries actually? We probably have a different name for them.
I couldn't tell you the other word for them, just gooseberries. Like the little.
Do we have those?
They're little, like almost like pale green blueberry sized things, if I remember right.
I may not have ever had gooseberry.
Well, gooseberry for me is there's a lot of gooseberry in this, and I think that's going to come from Citra probably in this one, maybe a little bit from Motueka. Motueka normally gives you this kind of oily, juicy lime, so maybe that is what I'm thinking is the gooseberry. But the fruity side of things, yeah, for me, there's definitely that bit of sharper peach.
Sure, peach, what, the kind of stone fruit peach.
Mango for sure, that's
mango,
Citra.
passion fruit.
Simcoe's going to give you that, yeah.
Grapefruit?
I think there's a wee bit of grapefruit in there, but I think the peach from the Citra for me is massive, because the grapefruit's going to come from Chinook for sure.
Okay. But definitely that kind of the oiliness and that boozy kind of aroma is kind of binding it all together for me.
I think for me, there's a teeny bit of grapefruit, but peach, mango, apricot.
Okay, yeah, sure. Any kind of stone fruits.
Passion fruit as well from the Simcoe. Nice big juicy oily orange. That's Mosaic. The orangey character is Mosaic.
Okay.
And then I think the lime is. I think the mix of Mosaic and Motueka. When you mix those together, they give you more of the sort of tangerine and lime sort of mixes together to give you this kind of gooseberry type note, and I think that's what I'm getting.
I am getting, I think you mentioned earlier pine. I'm getting that now. It took me a minute, but I'm getting a very sort of a green piney kind of smell too.
Yeah, I mean the The green component for me as well, last thing before we taste it, 'cause I think we're both desperate to taste this.
I know. That's true.
This one, quite floral, I would say. The green component
floral.
is floral.
Floral, sure.
Maybe a teeny bit of earthiness from the mosaic, but mainly a nice oily floral character and a good little bit of grassiness.
Sure.
Anything else you want to add to that? No. Let's taste it. Hysteric IPA, 7% ABV. One of the classic beers from Y Market. Let's do this. Slanja Kampai.
So smooth.
Ooh. That is nice. I like this for sure.
If you are in Nagoya and you only have one beer at Y Market, I would probably recommend this one. As far as their kind of flagship beer, I definitely think you should try it.
Yeah, this is absolutely worth trying.
Hysteric IPA.
Ooh. That is good. Yeah. Yeah, this is as good on tap as I remember it in can, if not better. I've not had one in can in quite a while. But yes, it's so smooth and it has that nice kind of oily mouthfeel that I would kind of associate. You notice trends and you notice little nuances with beer. Someone's very happy to have their beer. The aroma and the flavour of this one just go together really, really well. Backbone of the beer for me, fresh white bready bread crust. Pretty sure there's German malt in this because you've got that wee bit of distinctive dryness in there. So fresh white bready bread crust, little touch of woody and crackery character into the aftertaste. You have a layer of kind of grainy brown bread in there, but slightly sweet. Then you've got a nice white bready layer again. I think the bready notes in this are quite sweet, aren't they? Yeah, I'd say. And then above that you get a little touch of toasty brown sugar. I want to say though, like the flavour in this one, there's a bit of that butterscotchy Werther's Original type thing, but absolutely the dead centre of your palate, caramel, and that's the boozy side of the beer. 7%. This one does show its alcohol a wee bit.
It does, but
it's not. It's quite pleasant. It is pleasant. Yeah.
Now I would say medium. Oh, we didn't talk about the body yet, but it's medium body. But this one, I do warn you against having it on a full stomach. It is a very, even though it's kind of a initial impression is it doesn't seem that heavy, but this one will fill you up. There's a lot to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In some ways, I'm regretting we didn't get the pint because it's really enjoyable.
Oh, it is good. Yeah. But it does fill you up.
Yeah,
like I've regretted having too many of these before.
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, I would quite happily drink the pint of this just for enjoyment purposes. But we're going to try a few different beers, of course. For me, the yeasty side of this beer, if we go to the back of the palate, I'd say more white bready and crackery.
Rather than brown bread.
White bready and crackery on the back third of the palate. Now when it comes to IPAs, you have to remember there are 3 types of hoppings. Early edition hopping, first hour of the wort boil, that's going to give you the majority of your bitterness. You've got late edition hopping, which is going to give you mainly flavour and aroma, but a little bit of bitterness. That's usually within the last half hour of your wort boil. Then you've got dry hopping, which takes place after the wort boil is complete, and that's all about flavour and aroma, no bitterness from that. So West Coast IPAs use all 3 types of hopping. New England IPAs tend to rely on late edition dry hopping. Sometimes there is a wee bit of early edition. This beer, for me, it does have a little bit of that dankness and piney resinous character to
definitely.
it. So there is there's quite a bit of early edition hopping with this one. That's quite obvious. The green component, little touch of earthiness in the back corners of your palate. That's the mosaic. As you move further forward, you do get a bit of that pine resin, particularly into the aftertaste.
Yes.
That's Chinook.
Okay.
And as you reach the front corners of your palate, you've got a little bit of floral aromatic spice and some grassiness there. The other hops are going to give you that. I think the oily character to the grassiness is coming from Motueka, and that's just something I've picked up on experience. New Zealand hops for me give you this slightly more oily character, I think, in the flavour.
Okay.
So the American ones are a little bit more punchy, but just not quite as oily and wet almost, I would say. I think that covers the green component of this one. But I think the fruity side of this beer is really, really nice as well. So the front third of your palate, you have the bready base, of course, a little bit of bread crust. You've got the wee touch of that little touch of kind of cracker and things above it. Then the brown bread and the white bread. Then that nice oily bubble where the juicy fruity esters roll their way out. At the back of that front third of your palate, it's got a little bit of grapefruit. I'm sure that's going to be the Citra and the Chinook that give you that. As you move further forward, you get a little bit of the peach, the passion fruits underneath. You've got the nice juicy mango, and as you reach the middle of the palate, you've got little bits of apricot and stuff there. And as you move into the front half of that front third of your tongue, I'd say it's more. I would say that it's a little bit more. You get the tangerine orange and then the sort of limey grapefruity character. So it's mosaic with the orange, and then the Motueka is giving you the sort of limey gooseberry type note. But you do get a bit of the pine resin and the grapefruit and the spice, the floral spice coming out into the aftertaste, I would say. Oh.
A lot of the dials turned up on this one. There's just a lot going on. Yeah. It's very full flavor. Everything comes together really nicely, though. I don't feel like anything is overbearing. It's just really.
It's really nice. This beer is really nice on tap. But the thing that's impressive with this as well is when I think about the cans we've had, it doesn't feel like it's very far away from the cans either. I think the cans are maybe slightly more oily, and there's a bit less dryness in the can maybe. Okay. But that's just from memory. It's been a good year or two since I've had this particular beer.
At least I almost always have them on tap. So.
Oh yeah. On tap for me this is new. What would you say that between the tap and the can?
I've really only had it in the can once.
Oh, okay.
So I don't actually remember, but my memory is it tasted very similar to this.
So flavor profile wise, but I think I would maybe say the can is a bit more oily than this. Okay. This has got a little bit more dryness, but
I'll be looking out for that next time. Maybe. Yeah.
So to round off, like Jordan said earlier, mid-bodied. Carbonation's very smooth in this one. The smoothness of this beer is great. It's got a little bit of oiliness to it. As I say, there's a bit of dryness into the aftertaste. IBU, it says here 77. I would have thought 60? It was less. I would have thought it was less, yeah. I actually would have thought it was a bit less, like 60 or something like that, to be honest with you. So that's surprising. Malt base, a bit drier underneath, smoother in the middle, sweeter on top. Lovely oily fruity character, well balanced. I think more citrusy in the aftertaste, but more tropical up front. And,
I feel like beers where the flavor is a really balanced and full flavored beers. I find that even when the IBU is a bit higher, it doesn't taste that bitter. Maybe something when there's enough things happening in the flavor that it makes the bitterness not come through as much.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. It really is nice. But is there anything else we should say about this one?
Just you should try one if you come here.
You should try this. Yeah, this is very, very good. So I think I'm going to do another maybe 3 reviews here so far, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, I think that's everything we need to say about this one. Yeah, so nice to have Jordan join in for this one because this is a beer that we both really, really like.
Oh yeah.
So it's a shame they don't have the super hysteric on the menu because that would have been an interesting comparison.
I've never had it.
They might have it in can. We should maybe look at that.
I bet they would.
We should look at that. We should look at that. But yeah, I think that's a good place to sign off with the first one. This was Hysteric IPA, our first beer here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. 7% West Coast IPA. Really good. Catch you guys in a second with something else. Cheers. Alright guys, well, let's have a little look at the tap list then here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen in Nagoya, and we're here of course on the 27th of December 2024. So a good selection of stuff actually. They have the Yellow Sky Pale Ale, a yuzu fruit pale ale, the Lupulin Nectar, one of their classics, a New England WIPA, the Hysteric IPA, which is one that I really, really enjoy, an American IPA, more West Coasty I would say though. The Suzo, which is the Fruits American Pale Ale, sounds kind of interesting actually. Kimuri the Pilkinsa, which is a Pulque Saison. Not 100% sure what that is. The Beer Tex 1.1, an American IPA, or American IPA, little typo there, but still it turned out quite funny. It's definitely melon, a melon milkshake hazy IPA, which sounds really quite interesting. The Apple Honey Abbey, which is a honey and apple Abbey ale, I guess. Maybe it's meant to be like a kind of triple or something like that. But yeah, over the page, a few more. They have the Beta Bitter, the Nachtmusik, which is a Weizen Doppelbock. I've had that one and reviewed that on the channel before. Might need to try that at source. The Stylish Brown Ale. I love a good brown ale, so probably going to try that. And then the Yofukashi Queen, which is an American barley wine, 12% ABV. So yeah, a good mix of things here. They're selling all their beers in 330 milliliters and American pint sizes. So yeah, you can see that up here. 330 milliliters and 490. An American pint is, of course, 473 milliliters. But yeah, you're talking about 800 to 900 or 1,000 yen for the smaller one, and maybe about 1,200, 1,300 yen for the bigger ones. So that translates to about £5 sterling for the smaller one, 50 Hong Kong dollars, maybe 70 Swedish kroner. $7 American, something like that for the smaller ones. And then for the bigger ones, what's that going to be? 1,280 yen, 1,300. That'll be like maybe like £7 £7 sterling, so 70 Hong Kong dollars, maybe about 90 Swedish kroner, €9, maybe $10 American, something like that. Like I say, a good selection of different beers here, and not quite sure what this is, but you guys can follow them on Instagram if you like. But yeah, quite a good variety of styles of beer here on tap at Y Market Kitchen. We're just going to move on to this one, which is beer tasting number 2. So yeah, enjoy. Catch you guys in a second. Right guys, so time for tasting number 2 then here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. So I decided to go with another one of their classic beers, but this is one that I don't think I've ever tried from them. So I thought it was about time that we changed that. So yeah, beer number 2 is called Lupulin Nectar. It comes in at 7.5% ABV, and they're describing this one as a New England WIPA. So WIPA is of course a wheat IPA, but I have to say I've never heard of a New England wheat IPA, because New England IPAs normally contain oat and wheat in the malt base, in addition to the usual barley and things too. But yeah, wheat IPAs are still fairly popular among Japanese beer drinkers and brewers. So it's quite curious to see how this one turns out. But like I say, it's 7.5% ABV, this one. It has Cascade, Mosaic, Citra, all of which are from the US, and then Galaxy. So Cascade, of course, is going to give you that little bit of grapefruit and that kind of peary sultana type flavour. Mosaic is going to give you the kind of tangerine notes. Citra is going to give you your peach, grapefruit, and sort of mango-y type notes, sometimes a little bit of lychee and gooseberry, of course, as well. And Galaxy is going to give you quite a little bit of passion fruit and mango, I would say. A little bit of peach as well, in all honesty. So appearance-wise, this one actually pours this lovely kind of bright yellow colour. I think if I put my hand behind it, you can see the colour a little bit more, but on the camera it seems to be a little bit darker than it is to the naked eye. It's got a lovely little bit of natural haze to it as well. You can see that if I put my fingers behind the glass there. But yeah, not too much in the way of visible carbonation with this one. One or two bubbles going up toward the underside of the head there. When it poured, it had a lovely kind of half finger of a frothy, I would have said, kind of cream coloured head there. But all in all, it looks really nice, and in terms of like a New England or a wheat IPA, for it, it's a little bit less hazy than a New England, but for a wheat IPA, WIPA, I think it looks pretty much as you would expect. So nothing else I think we really need to say about the appearance of this one. I'll just let you have a little closer look at what it says here. They like to put these little stickers on the front of their beers. at Y Market Brewing, but the glass, I have to say, is really nice. This is 330 millilitres, of course, this one, the smaller measure. But yeah, let's have a wee look at the nose on this one and see how it turns out. Oh, that's nice. Very soft and very juicy. I will say the aroma of this one is very much like a kind of New England hazy IPA. Like I said in the last tasting, the difference with New England and West Coast IPAs, one of the big ones is the hopping. So you can tell with this beer the kind of softer and brighter green component. This beer is mainly relying on late addition and dry hopping. It's not got too much in the way of early addition hopping. So it's got that lovely sweet malt base and the soft, juicy, fruity characters in there. So the backbone of your beer, lovely, fresh, kind of white bready bread crust. Little touch of woodiness, little bit of cracker, of course, as you often get. Lots of kind of white bread in this one. You can feel that soft, fluffy white bread in there, but you also get the more dense, wheaty white bread as well. So at the back of the nose, you've got that really nice kind of slight bitiness from the wheat, but it's a really smooth and very dense, wheaty, white bready character that comes out of this one. I want to say there is a little touch of an oaty creaminess to this beer, but not madly much, if that makes sense. So yeah, lovely little bit of oaty creaminess in there, but then on top of that you do have a little slight touch of sweetness, not all that much, but it's like a kind of Werther's Original butter candy butterscotch type character, but mainly the oaty creaminess is what's given this beer its slightly sweeter side. There is a tiny little touch of biscuit as well, maybe a bit of golden promise in the malt base of this one. Yeah, interesting stuff on that count for sure. Yeah, on the yeasty side of the beer, at the back of the nose, you've got a little bit of more kind of white bready type character. It's mostly a white bready note that's coming out of the yeast. And yeah, white bready yeasty character for sure. A little bit of cracker and a little bit of like woody character in there. And yeah, I like the yeah, I do very much like how the malty side of this beer goes together. It's definitely a more kind of malty, smooth IPA, this one. The green component, there's a little bit of earthiness in there, but that's very minimal. Mostly this beer is quite grassy. There's a little bit of floral character in there, but as I say, with the absence of too much early addition hopping in this one, this is really leaning more towards your kind of softer green components. Absolutely fair to say that. Yeah, don't know if there's much else to say, just a bit floral and a bit grassy mostly on the green component. Fruity wise, really tropical leaning this one, I would say. For me, that's the Citra and the Galaxy combination that's going to give you that. So you've got a nice little touch of peach in there, lots and lots of passion fruit, lots and lots of mango. You've got a bit of apricot in there, maybe a wee touch of papaya or something like that. And then, yeah, there's a good little bit of, you do get a wee bit of the tangerine orange out of this one. Was it Cascade was the other one in here? Yeah, I get a little touch of the oily pear, but not overly much. Like, you do get a little bit of that peary sultana type note, but mostly, yeah, the kind of passion fruit, mango, apricot-y type note is dominating in the aroma with this one. My fingers felt like they were sticking to the glass there. But yeah, aroma-wise, this beer I think is really, really nice. I don't know if there's too much else to say about it than that. So yeah, let's have a taste of this one then and see what it's all about. This is the Lupulin Nectar, a 7.5% New England WIPA, as they're calling it here. One of the other classic beers from Y Market Brewing. Nice to have it at source. Slàinte, skål, cheers, kampai. Ooh, that is really, really good. Yeah, Jordan was very enthusiastic about this one as well, and I can see why. It's very, very different to the Hysteric IPA. This one's definitely a more kind of smooth, well, the flavour is a bit smoother. It's not quite as sweet, and it's a more kind of tropical leaning beer as well, I would say, than the Hysteric IPA, but I can see why this one is very popular. That's really damn good. So again, big thumbs up to Y Market Brewing for this beer. I think this is really nice. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So really smooth. It kind of has the smoothness of the New England IPA, but it's just not quite as full in the body. It's a little bit more of a kind of drinkable thing, and you often find this with Japanese beers, that they just have that element of what I call the Japanese drinkability. They view beer as something to kind of clear the throat and go down nicely. So yeah, you can see that in this beer. The backbone of this beer, again, fresh white bready bread crust. You've got that little bit of kind of crackery and woody character further forward on the middle third of your palate. There's a wee touch of a sweet kind of more grainy brown bread in there. Then you've got the fluffy white bread from the barley malt in this one, the more dense wheaty white bready character as well. And then yeah, above that you start to get the kind of oaty notes out of this one. You can feel down the middle line of your tongue there is a little bit of that oaty kind of density in there as well, and you can feel that the oats dry out a little bit as you go toward the edge of your palate. I'm pretty certain there is oat in this one, just from the sheer smoothness of the flavour and the body in this beer. So maybe that's why they're calling it a New England W IPA, although I don't know why you would need to have a New England W IPA, because they already have wheat in it. I'd be curious to hear the brewer's thoughts on that, actually. But yeah, in the dead centre of your palate, you've got that little circle there where you've got like Werther's Original butter candy, butterscotchy sort of notes, and yeah, and just a little bit of biscuit around the around that kind of boozy character there as well. So yeah, again, really nice in that regard. But this is the brown sugary notes in this one are quite minimal compared to the Hysteric IPA, that's for sure. Yeah. So for me, the yeasty side of this beer at the back of the palate, it has mostly a white bready type note to it, but it's also just got a little touch of a kind of spicy character as well. So yeah, the way that sort of little spicy note goes together is really nice. But yeah, there's a wee bit of cracker and a wee bit of woody note in there, but yeah, the yeasty side of this beer on the back third of the palate, you've got all the breadiness and stuff underneath there, of course. But yeah, the yeasty side of note of this beer has a little touch of spiciness, almost very slightly kind of peppery as well, and yeah, the way that goes together is again really quite nice. But yeah, white bready, slightly almost like a kind of grainy spice to it, I would say as well. Definitely, yeah, back third of your palate, the flavour's taller. As you move further forward into the middle third of your palate, it just condenses down that wee bit more. Yeah, hoppy side of things, you do have a little bit of lingering bitterness in this one. Of course, you've got that little bit of earthiness from the mosaic. As you come further forward, there's a wee tiny hint of pine resin there. So probably there has been a little bit of early addition hopping here, but not too much. As you move further forward, though, there's kind of floral aromatic spice on the front corners of your palate there, just a little bit, yeah, a little bit sort of, yeah, it's quite a bright floral character actually. Then round the front curve of the tongue, it's just that little bit lighter and more grassy, I would say, and just a little touch of zestiness coming out of it too. Front third of your palate though, where you have those nice fruity esters pushing their way out of the beer, it's kind of what I described from the aroma. At the very back, you've got a little bit of grapefruit in there, which is going to come from the Cascade and the Citra in this case. But as you move further forward, you get that sharper kind of peach on top, the passion fruit underneath, big juicy mango, and you've got the kind of apricot-y type, yeah, apricot-y kind of characters underneath. So yeah, the way that goes together, I think, is really nice. So yeah, mango, kind of apricot, maybe a wee bit of pineapple coming out of this one as well, I would say too. But yeah, as you move into the front half of the front third of your tongue with this one, it's all about the tangerine orange from the mosaic. Yeah, it's really tangerine orangey, and that citrusy note kind of lingers into the aftertaste. So maybe a tiny touch of lime in there as well. But yeah, this is definitely a more kind of tropical and white bready sort of offering in comparison to the Hysteric IPA. It's absolutely fair to say that. But this is really, really nice as well. I mean, Lupulin Nectar and Hysteric IPA, these are the kind of core IPAs, and they're both really pretty damn good, I have to say. So yeah, very different beers, both great in their own right. So yeah, let's round off this one then with a wee look at the mouthfeel. Yeah, for me, mouthfeel wise, this beer, it's quite, I'd say again, it's kind of at the lower end of mid-bodied. The carbonation is very, very smooth. It has got a wee bit of that wetness to it. It's quite a drinkable one, this, and it's 7.5% ABV as well. It hides its alcohol pretty damn well. I think the booziness in the Hysteric was a little bit more obvious, even though that was only 7%. I think this one hides its alcohol a bit more, and it's higher in ABV as well. IBU wise, I think this one's maybe about 30 IBU, something like that. It says here, it says 11 IPAs. I would have thought just a little touch more than that. 25 or 30 was my sort of guess. But yeah, malt base, a little bit drier underneath, smoother in the middle, a tiny little touch of sweetness on top and a very slight creaminess. Then yeah, you've got that nice juicy fruity character coming out of this one. So yeah, really cool to try this beer at Source once again. To try it for the first time at Source. I need to get a can of this, I think, and review it at some point. So we'll see about making that happen. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. That's the end of beer tasting number 2. I think we'll be getting some food soon, and then we're going to try some of the other more random things that you don't come across all that often. So yeah, catch you guys in a second with something else. Cheers. Alright guys, well, time for a quick look at the food menu then here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. So yeah, this part of the menu is quite interesting. They've got 3 different kinds of tacos, 780 yen. You can get your pulled pork and cheese tacos, avocado, shrimp and chili tacos. I don't know if the Mexicans would necessarily have that. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that there. But yeah, that's obviously a kind of Japanese Japanification, if we can say that, of the taco. But they've also got the spicy chicken tacos in there as well. These are, for one big taco from what I understand. Over here we have the tapas menu. We'll come back to that in a little minute. This will give you a laugh, so I'll hand that to Jordan, and you'll see this. But yeah, the other part of the food menu, there's a good selection of stuff here. They've got the rotisserie chicken, the crispy roast pork, French fries, tortilla pizza, which I was quite curious about, the conger eel, fish and chips. Then down here they've got a kind of mixed platter type thing. Over here you've got a little kind of finger food sort of stuff. You've got raw ham, patted cabbage, mini Cobb salad, avocado and tuna tartare, the cabbage and anchovy, an original potato salad as well, a selection of sausages, which I probably will end up trying. Over here you've got some little small things as well, baguettes, pickles, sauerkraut, garlic, soybeans, caramel nuts, smoked nuts, tomato, cucumber, raisin, cheese butter, chicken liver confit, white truffle nuts, and then yeah, down here even more you have the kind of chicken, the Nagoya taco, which sounds quite interesting. This thing up here, the homemade beef dodenti with beef streets, sounds quite interesting. Azuki and butter. And then down here you've got the chicken. Nagoya is of course famous for its chicken, so you can get a little bit of fried chicken, you can get your deep fried octopus, the jalapeno pepper and gyoza, the chicken and chips. I'm not sure what this is, the spare ribs mad zedong. That sounds kind of interesting, but it looks pretty damn spicy. The beef steak thing here, and then you get the big chicken sandwich. So yeah, let's have a little look at the tapas menu now. So let's do it. Okay, so little quick look at the Japanese for you there. So Jordan is going to use the wonderful power of the Google Translate with us so we can see. So first one is our smoked skipjack tuna and turnip sauce.
Tuna, yes.
The natural yellow carpaccio.
Yellowtail carpaccio, tuna.
Yeah. Oh, And then strawberry and mozzarella Caesar salad.
Nice.
Milanese salami and cheese.
Milano salami and cheese.
Garlic shrimp, the gizzard and ginkgo pepperoncino. Oysters pickled in oil, the dried sardine garlic toast, Nagoya minced cutlet. That sounds interesting. The Negima kushikatsu UFO flavor. No idea what UFO flavor is.
UFO is the popular instant ramen.
Oh, right. Okay. That sounds interesting as well. Sarsicia wonton, homemade mushroom and spinach quiche, and mapo tripa. This was a type of fish, if I remember rightly. And then
but the mapo Chinese flavor, the Sichuan flavor.
Okay. And then the mushroom risotto. So that's quite an interesting way that we did that. But remember, 1,000 yen is roughly £5 sterling, maybe £5.50 sterling, 55 Hong Kong dollars, maybe 75 Swedish kroner, 80 Swedish kroner, something like that, €8, about $9 American, $8 American, something like that. But a good selection of food here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. An interesting way for us to film the menu, but I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. Alright guys, so our food just arrived. This is the big chicken sandwich that I'm going to have, although I'm going to take the tomato and the lettuce out of it because just not my thing. But some lovely fries there, nice little bit of ketchup, a salsiccia, which I'm very curious about, and Jordan also has his taco. What's this? The chicken taco. Spicy chicken taco.
And cilantro on there, a little coriander, nice.
Oh, nice. And as you would expect in Japan, they wanted it to be nicely presented. So there you are. But let's taste this and talk about the food a little bit. We've got brown ale for just after this one as well. So catch you in a second with that too. Alright guys, so let's try this food and just see what we think. I'm really curious about this. So I'm going to start off with the sausage thing, just see, because I love salsiccia. Looks really good, look at that. Looks very, very good. You can see really nicely cooked. I love the kind of really herby sausages like this, so I don't know if this will be an Italian made or a Japanese made salsiccia, but this will be good. Oh, wherever it's made, it's really, really nice. The herbs in the background of this are really just juicy. It just gives you that whole succulent flavor. You can't go wrong with sausages and beer. You really, really can't.
True.
Wow. This is absolutely lovely. I love this stuff. It's really, really good. Wow. Really juicy sausage, absolutely beautiful. Can't go wrong, really can't go wrong. Let's have a little look at some of these French fries. They're nicely seasoned actually. Fire it in the ketchup. Nicely cooked. On their own, maybe need just a little touch of, they've got a little touch of salt to them. But those are nice enough. Nicely done. Again, these are going to go down very, very well with the beer and make you want to eat more. So okay, main event time. Let's have a little look at this chicken burger. It's very rare that I actually eat a chicken burger. In Scotland, our food is more based on beef. Scotch beef is very, very famous. So our burgers have always been beef. But this chicken burger though looks very good. Nagoya is famous for its chicken. When in Rome, do it. So let's see what the chicken's like on its own first. Oh that chicken, to put it bluntly, is juicy as fuck. That is lovely. Right. It's just so nicely cooked. The coating's really, really crispy. Let's get a little bit with the cheese as well. So the way that all of that goes together, I think, is it's really, really nice. Let's try the try a little bit of the bread and the sauce and things. Oh yeah. So, the bread is really nice and soft, just slightly toasted, crispy on the outside and just really nice and moist on the inside. They've got a sauce in there, which is just like a kind of regular burger sauce. Just adds that little bit of extra flavour that you want from this kind of thing. So nicely done. I mean, I'm Scottish. I'm not so culinarily enlightened like Gordon Ramsay, for example. But this is really enjoyable, and for me, this is good food to kind of mix with your beer. So try the chicken sandwich. I would recommend this. There's other things on the menu that are very interesting too. Would you recommend the taco?
Yes. Not for you though. Too many vegetables.
Too many vegetables for me apparently, but it is good. But yeah, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this. This was really nice. Or it is really nice. I'm not finished it yet. Let's leave it at that for the food section. We'll get a couple more beers done in a little minute. Cheers. Alright guys, well, time for tasting number 3 then here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. So we're going to go to a style that I very much enjoy, but one that you don't come across all that often these days, unfortunately. But I think this should be really interesting. So this particular beer is simply called Stylish Brown Ale, and it says on the menu that the style is Stylish Brown Ale. The hops in it are Simcoe, Chinook, Citra and Centennial, so I'm guessing it's an American brown ale. One of my favourite beers back in the day was the Brooklyn Brown. So I've always enjoyed a brown ale, and of course, having grown up in Scotland, the Scotch ales, the more malty, brown sugary things, I've always had a little bit of affinity for those. So yeah, Doppelbox, brown ales, Belgian quadruples, American barley whites, these big brown sugary beers, I really enjoy. So this I think should be quite interesting. I just thought it was funny that the style was Stylish Brown Ale, and that's also the name of the beer. But as you can see, this one's poured a lovely dark sort of chestnutty kind of colour. When it came out, it had about a half finger of a frothy, I would have said like, kind of fawn, very slightly tan coloured head. One or two big bubbles sticking on the side of the glass, but not too much visible going up toward the bottom of the head there. It does have a little touch of natural haze to it, but mainly, it's a nice kind of naturally hazy sort of chestnutty colour. I don't know if we really need to say much else about the appearance of this one. This is pretty much what you would expect of an American brownie or an English brownie, in all honesty. The American ones, of course, are going to be that little bit more sort of fruity and things, and with the hops in this one, I think probably we have to put this one in the American brownie box, but that's always good. So, let's have a wee look at the nose of this one then and see how we go. Ooh. Now, that smells really nice. The backbone of the beer, you have a lovely little bit of, you've got a good little bit of kind of sort of rye bready bread crust in there. Of course, there's little hints of like woody character, a little bit of nuttiness as well. Sweet sort of German rye bread. I'm pretty sure that, again, this is done with German malt. Germany and Japan have a big trade relationship, so very easy for them to get these kind of materials. And of course, the G-Biru brewery boom that happened in the early 90s in Japan made all these kind of logistical ties and stuff. So the brown bread that's coming out of this one to me smells distinctively German. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of rye malt in here. So lovely sweet German rye bread. Good little bit like a more wholemeal brown bready character as well. Maybe a tiny little hint of chocolate. I know in Japanese brown ales they like to use a little bit of chocolate malt. So there's a tiny little hint of that in there for me, but toasty brown sugar, a slightly more leathery brown sugar, which is usually a sign of a slightly longer wort boil. So leathery brown sugar in there. There is a sweeter caramel, some biscuity notes, and toasty brown sugar notes. It's a lovely smelling beer, this one, that's for sure, and of course it is more malt centred, as you would expect. The yeasty side of this one, the yeasty side of this beer for me is definitely more yeah, kind of rye bready. It's almost, you know, this beer almost has a little bit of like a kind of, I don't know if it's right to say maybe Christmas pudding or gingerbread. It's got a wee tiny touch of that. Not overly sweet or too overly seasoned or spicy, whatever you want to say. But the yeasty character certainly shows you that nice little bit of brown bready and kind of yeasty character, that's for sure. Yeah, the way that all of that pieces together in this one, I think, is really, really nice. So yeah, lovely little bit of kind of, the yeasty side of this one's got a little bit of like more rye bready, wholemeal brown bread, just a little touch of an almost kind of spicy note to it, kind of crackery character. So yeah, I really like how that goes together. Green component in the beer, little tiny touch of earthiness in there, wee bit of herbal character, little bit of floral note too, mainly grassy, I would say. The green component for me is more grassy than anything else. The fruity side of this one is quite interesting. I think the cascade actually is what sort of shows up for me, and the Chinook will be giving you a lot of the kind of red fruity notes. So the beer does have a little bit of like sultana and a kind of datey type quality. Pear for sure as well, and that's the cascade. I think, yeah, cascade and Chinook are going to be giving you that. The Citra and Centennial, they can of course behave quite differently in a more malty setting, so they're probably contributing to that datey, peary, sultana type note that this beer has. But maybe there's a bit of like dried apricot in there, and there's little hints of like fig.
Fig, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, fig for sure. There's a little bit of fig, and maybe just a little slight touch of black currant, I think. That's very slight. Yeah, fig I think is fig, pear, sultana, dried apricot. Probably that's a fair assessment of the, just dropped the menu there and spilled a bit of the beer. Yeah, of course the reaction, but yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of the aroma in this one. So yeah, I think it's time to tuck into this one then and see how we go. So this is the stylish brown ale, as they call it, a stylish brown ale, 6% ABV. Yeah. Our third beer here at Y Market Brewing. Oh, no, that is good. I've had brown ales like this before. This is really, really nicely done. To be honest, I wouldn't expect anything less of Y Market. These guys really, really know what they're doing. They've got that little bit of drier, roasty, toasty kind of character to them. And this one has a nice level of bitterness, both from the malt and from the kind of bready type notes. Yeah. But it's really nicely balanced, this one. I have to say that about it. Very, very nicely balanced beer for sure.
Another very smooth beer.
Absolutely. This would be lovely if you nitro conditioned it as well. Yeah. But yeah, let's break the beer down then. Backbone of the beer. Lovely kind of roasty, toasty, well-fired bread crusty notes to it. Almost like, you know, very slightly charred. Absolutely, there's a little bit of that charry note to it. Further forward on the palate, we've got a little bit of woodiness in there, some nuttiness mixed in. Then you've got a rye bready bread crust, sweet German rye bread, wholemeal brown bread above that. There's a very slight chocolatey note in there, but not too much. Then a leathery brown sugar above that. Yeah, like a more leathery brown sugary character sitting above that, and in the dead centre of your palate you have this oily, sweet but quite dry and toasty caramelly note just sitting in there, and of course the nuttiness and the woodiness and the dryness and that leathery character I was talking about really come to the fore in the aftertaste. And of course the most complex part of this beer is absolutely the malty centre of your palate. On the back third of your palate, the beer actually, the yeasty side of this one It's interesting, but as I've often said, sweeter flavours come out further forward on the palate, more dry and bitter flavours come out further back. On the back third of the palate, there's a lot of roasty, toasty, almost like charred, well-fired bread crust there underneath. You've got the bready characters, the rye bread, and the wholemeal brown bread sitting on top of that, some of the toastier brown sugars. But the yeasty side of this beer is more like a kind of dry, rye bready kind of character. It's like a kind of dry rye bready yeasty note that's coming out of this one. Very slightly almost slightly peppery and spicy too, like pepparkaka in Sweden. Like these kind of, I don't know, it's not quite gingerbread, like a kind of peppery bread sort of thing coming out of this one. So that's really interesting too. Yeah, I think that covers the malty and yeasty side of the beer. Hoppy side of things, it definitely has a little bit of hoppy bitterness to it, and that's to be expected with the American hops, that's for sure. So yeah, the green component of this one, nice little bit of earthiness in there. As you move further forward, it's got a little bit of like woody kind of character to it. A little bit herbal. As you move further forward from that, there's a wee touch of like floral aromatic spice. Then round the front curve of the tongue, it's just that little bit lighter and more grassy. And there is a wee bit of zestiness to this one. I think that's the Centennial that's going to do that, and to a degree, the Citra will as well. Yeah, that's really, really nice. But yeah, let's round off then with a wee look at the front third of your palate and the fruity side of the beer. So, the backbone of that front third of your palate, yeah, the toasty bread crust, the rye bread, all of that. Then you get the nice oily bubble sitting on top of that, and that nice oily bubble, fruity side of things. At the back of that front third of your palate, you're definitely getting a little bit of the stronger grapefruit. That's going to be from the Cascade and from the Chinook. The Citra will contribute to that as well. As you move further forward, you can feel something that's kind of trying to be tropical, but then it's really like oily and peary. There's some sultana notes in there, the dates that I was talking about. But yeah, as you reach the centre of that front third of your palate, yeah, it's got this really oily, peary kind of character as well, which I do like. And as you move into the front half of that front third of your tongue, you get a little slight touch of like fig or blackcurrant, but then yeah, there's this lemony note just behind the very front tip of your tongue, and the grassy esters in there. That lemony note is of course from the Centennial for sure. So yeah, flavour-wise, I wouldn't call this one a stylish brown ale. I'd say it's a US style brown ale, that's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, it's a really, really nice brown ale, this one. I've certainly enjoyed this. Mouthfeel wise, for me, this is maybe pushing toward the top end of mid-bodied, bottom end of full-bodied. Carbonation is really nice, and carbonation is nice and smooth and oily in this one. It's got quite a dry mouthfeel to it, but a little bit more oily the more that you drink of it. IBU wise, I want to say this one's maybe about 50 or 60 IBUs. Does it say on the menu? Let's have a wee look. It says 46.75, so yeah, 50 IBUs, okay, that makes sense. The malt, as we said, a bit dry and roasty and toasty, and nice smoother in the middle and a dry sweetness on top. Lovely oily kind of fruity character in there, like we said, and just that wee bit of hoppy kind of green component to it. Lovely American brown ale, this one. We'd certainly be happy to drink it again. Let's leave it at that, and we'll go on to something else in just a wee second. Catch you soon. Alright guys, very quick look at their can selection here then. So, Purple Sky Pale Ale, Yellow Sky Pale Ale, Lupulin Nectar, Shiso French Saison, Nach Music, Weizen Doppelbock, the T-Rex Rainy Jacket American IPA, Loop Station Red, Midnight Sol, Japanese Noodle Wheat Ale, the Hopping Shachi, Fruit American Pale Ale, the kind of fresh hop ale here. Then they've got the Cara Orca, dry hop lager, Dolphin's Craft American IPA, Top Water American IPA, Fruit Lager, Floral Flows American Pale Ale, the Indie Label Saison, the Blitz Session IPA, an American wheat ale. I'm not sure about the name for that one. Sukapon Tan Tasso Uaito, I don't know. And then here they've got the American barley wine that we tried. So nice selection of cans, I have to say. So let's leave it at that for just now. Alright guys, well, time for our fourth and penultimate tasting then here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen in Nagoya, and we came back outside because it was quite busy and our table was taken, but there are still 3 tables in there which we're wondering about, so we're laughing about that a little bit. Yes. And of course it is a little bit chilly, so now I look like a hobo, so there you are. But yeah, beer number 4 is one that I have had from these guys before, and it's one of their seasonal beers, a style that I do really quite enjoy, but one that you again don't come across all that often, but it still seems to be quite popular in Japan and in Asia more generally. So yeah, beer number 4 is Nachtmusik, which is a Weizen Doppelbock. Of course, the most famous example of this style potentially is the Schneiderweisse Aventinus, which is probably what inspired this beer. This one comes in though at 8.5% ABV, and it actually has a lot of American hops in it. So this one has American Simcoe, Amarillo and Mosaic, along with a little bit of Australian Galaxy. But yeah, it looks very, very nice. Again, you can see they've put this lovely sticker on it there, but it has the Japanese text. So yeah, the beer when it came out had about a half finger of a frothy, I would have said kind of cream coloured head, and you can see it looks really quite interesting. It's like a sort of syrupy caramel type colour is probably a good way to describe this one. As you'd expect from any type of wheat beer, it's pretty damn hazy, to be honest with you, and that is of course due to the presence of the wheat. Hefeweizen, if you translate that into English, it is like yeasty wheat basically. But yeah, 1 or 2 bubbles sticking toward the side of the glass, a few little ones going up toward the bottom of the head there. But yeah, it looks nice. There is a little bit of head retention there, kind of foamy there on the top and a ring around the edge of the glass. But yeah, nice kind of, you know, syrupy caramelly type colour coming out of this one. Yeah, nothing unusual about the appearance of this beer. One thing to know about Hefeweizens generally is that they have about 40% of their malt base is composed of wheat, and the Hefeweizen Doppelbock, or Weizenbock is the other one. These beers are also kind of a crossover with the Bock lager beers. So Bock beers originally come from the city of Einbeck in Germany, and they became known as Bocks because the Einbeckers took their beers to Munich and the Münchners made fun of their accent. A little bit of a story there. But yeah, Weizen Doppelbock, quite an interesting style, can be quite complex, and this is a beer that I know is pretty damn good actually. So let's have a little look at the nose of this one then and see how we go. Oh yeah, straight away with this one, I have to say I had reviewed this one in Cannes a couple of years ago. I don't remember it being anywhere near as complex in its fruitiness as this particular example is, but it smells really, really damn nice. Yeah, it's got an almost bubblegum kind of candy-ish sort of note to it, like a candied banana, but then you've got all these other fruity notes to it as well. Yeah, let's just try and break that down for you a wee bit. So the backbone of this beer is of course a lovely kind of fresh white bready bread crust in there. You've got a little bit of cracker, of course, wee bit of woodiness, then yeah, you have all these big kind of fluffy white bready notes from the barley malt. You've got that more dense character from the wheaty side of things, and of course at the back of the nose you've got all the yeasty notes in there. So you've got that kind of candied banana, that kind of clovey sort of spice, that bubblegummy type sugar, and on top of that you do get little elements of like Werther's Original, butter candy, butterscotch, a wee bit of biscuit, a little bit of toasty caramel, Werther's Original, butter candy, butterscotch. But I would say that this one, for me, and I think I remember the canned version of this being significantly more brown sugary leaning, this one really is very bubblegummy. That's the first thing that comes to mind about this. This one is very, very bubblegummy, that's for sure. If you take it in a bit more deeply, you get a little bit more of the, there's a little bit more of the the kind of caramel and the Werther's Original, the biscuit stuff kind of coming out. But yeah, all in all, it's quite, it really is quite kind of bubblegummy more than anything else. Of course, the Hefeweizen family of beers, generally speaking, is not the most hop-forward style. They usually have about 15 IBUs. You are getting a little bit of an almost noble hop type quality out of this one. So there's a little touch of like earthiness in there, a little bit of woodiness, wee touch of floral and grassy character to it as well. But the fruity side of this one really kind of takes over, and most of these American and Australian hops that are in here, I'm sure will have been added as late addition or dry hopping, actually. Probably more dry hopping, in fact, just to make sure there's not a lot of bitterness in the beer. But the fruity side of this one, as we said, you've got that candied banana in there. Of course, you've got the elements of apricot and papaya and stuff. There's a bit of orange in there, which is going to be your Amarillo. Mosaic's going to give you that as well. So yeah, there's a lot of orange in this one, in all honesty, which kind of suits the more brown sugary background. But yeah, you've got a wee bit of like mango, passion fruit, pineapple, I think, in there as well. And that makes sense when it's Simcoe and Galaxy that are the other ones in there. So yeah, passion fruit, pineapple, mango, and then a nice kind of big, juicy, orangey type character coming out of this one. So all in all, a really interesting smelling beer, actually. It's been a long time since I've had a Weizenbock of any description, or even a Hefeweizen of any description. So I thought it was nice to kind of revisit this beer, because it is one of Y Market Brewing's winter seasonals, if you like, or the main winter seasonal. So yeah, let's have a taste of this one then and see what it's all about. The Nachtmusik, 8.5% Weizen Doppelbock. Let's get stuck in. Slange, Skål, cheers, Kampai. Ooh. Now, that is quite different on tap to how I remember it being in can. First impression is really quite clean and quite slick and oily up front, but then as you go into the aftertaste, it really gives you the flavours you'd expect of the Weizen Doppelbock. But yeah, the fruity nature of this one is definitely kind of new world rather than old world. That's for sure. But yeah, that is a really, really nice beer, this one. I remember this one being good, but yeah, it is. This is really, really enjoyable. So a big thumbs up from me. Yeah, definitely a nice one. It's a bit chilly out here tonight, so this is our first winter warmer that we're going to have. We're going to round off on something a bit heavier than this as well. But yeah, this is really, really good. So again, thumbs up to Y Market Brewing for this one. Yeah, so where do we start with this beer then? Backbone of the beer, lovely, fresh, white bready bread crust on the backbone there. A little bit of woodiness, a little bit of cracker. And then on top of that, you have some white bread in there, which is good. Yeah, so a little bit of a barley malt white bread, and then above that, you start to get the more dense, wheaty white bread out of this one, which is good. And then, yeah, you get a little touch of the kind of toasty, caramelly notes in there, toasty brown sugar. Then you've got a kind of circle in the middle of your palate there where it's a little bit of a drier brown sugar, more kind of Werther's Original, butter candy, butterscotchy type notes coming out of the beer in the centre of your palate. So yeah, a little bit of a more sweet caramel in the centre of your palate, a bit more Werther's Original, butter candy, butterscotch, wee bit of biscuit in there as well. Then yeah, slightly drier brown sugar underneath. And yeah, the way that goes together is really, really nice in this one. Yeah, that is nice. I think that's maybe everything we really need to say about the middle third of your palate, other than the fact that it has a little bit of that bubblegum sugar, candied banana sort of type flavour that kind of pushes its way out later on. Yeah, I really do like how that pieces together in this one. It's a big thumbs up from me, that's for sure. Yeah, anyway, back third of your palate and the yeasty side of things then. Of course, the bread crust underneath, all the white bready and wheaty type characters on top of that, then a bit of the drier brown sugar going on the top. The yeasty side of this beer again, quite white bready, more like a kind of banana, there's a lot of banana bread on that back third of your palate there. So it's, yeah, banana bread, candied banana, lots of white bread. It really goes together very, very nicely. So yeah, I like how that pieces together on this one. It's really nicely done there. In terms of the hoppy side of things then, it's interesting because the beer does still have that little bit of noble hoppy kind of undertone to it. So there's a little bit of earthiness. As you move further forward, it's a little touch herbal, which is quite interesting. And as you push further forward from that, a little bit kind of floral and aromatic then round the front curve of the tongue. It's just that little bit lighter and grassy, but of course not a high IBU beer this one. The green kimono is quite smooth and very kind of slightly oily, I would say. But yeah, let's round off with a wee look at the fruitiness then. So yeah, for me, the fruity side of this beer, it's kind of what you'd expect from these hops. As I was saying in the aroma, there's a lot of orange to this one, but we'll come back to that in a second. So, as I always say, that front third of your palate, you get that nice oily bubble where the fruity esters roll the way out of the beer. At the back of that, you absolutely get like a kind of juicy passion fruit and then more juicy, like a more oily mango as you come further forward. There is a wee touch of like a kind of drier apricot-y note in there underneath and a wee bit of pineapple on top. So yeah, passion fruit, mango, apricot underneath and pineapple on top. And then yeah, the front half of that front third of your palate is all about the orange, and it's kind of an oily, more zesty orange, which is the Amarillo. I think the Amarillo dominates the mosaic in this one a little bit, to be honest with you. But it works, it really does work very, very well. So yeah, I think that's everything we need to say about the flavour of this one. It's a really nicely done beer. I think we should finish off with a look at the mouthfeel, as we always do. So this particular Weizen Doppelbock, in comparison to the German ones, this is a bit more oily, a little bit more slick, I would say, as well. It feels very, very clean. Again, that's a kind of common characteristic of Japanese beer. But yeah, very low IBU, I think like 10 or 15 IBUs. What does it say? Actually, it says 34 in this one. Surprised at that, to be honest with you. Very low IBU, but malt base, bit dry underneath, smooth in the middle, dry sweetness on top. The yeasty character gives you a bit of dryness too. Nice kind of oily hoppy finish, and then that lovely big oily juicy fruity character of it. Beautiful, beautiful beer though, but I think this is a nice place to finish off with our penultimate beer here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. Catch you guys in a second with something else. This was Knack Musik and 8.5% Weizen Doppelbock, their main winter seasonal. Alright guys, so yeah, I've been filming and making a mess of the table obviously, but yeah, this is the view from the little terrace outside for the smokers where I've been filming. So yeah, we've got this nice little old house temple here. There you can see the beer sign. But yeah, little look up the street there and over there. So as you often find in Japan, you're very close to one of the highways. So yeah, and here is of course the pub behind us. So yeah, this is where I've been filming the first couple of beer tastings. Alright guys, well, time for our 5th and final tasting then here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. Jordan's 4th,
yes.
5th in the video. That's the numbers out the way, don't have to think about it anymore. So yeah, our last beer is a style that I haven't tried from Y Market Brewing before, have you?
No, it's my first time from them. Yeah.
Okay, but it's a style that we both really enjoy. And considering the fact that, I mean, me personally, I consider this brewery to be quite a sort of sweet and malty leaning brewery.
Yes.
This is a style that I think fits really well with the sort of stereotypical flavour profile that I have in my head from this brewery.
It's also a style that's very appropriate for a chilly winter evening and sitting out on a patio, which is what we're doing right now.
That's a very good point. This is our warm-up beer, even though it should be our warm-down beer. But yeah, so beer number 5 on this video is called Yofukashi Queen. Apparently it's part of their chess series. It comes in at 12% ABV, so it is an absolute monster. And this one is an American style barley wine, Simcoe and Mosaic in this one. So yeah, quite often these beers have like Chinook and Cascade, sometimes another hop in there as well. So yeah, this one has slightly more modern hops in it than that. Yeah, Simcoe and Mosaic. But yeah, the barley wine, as some of you might know, is the kind of big brother of the original Imperial IPA. The Pale Ale, IPA, Double IPA, barley wine are all related to each other through their hop to malt ratios. And yeah, the American barley wine, you know, kind of uses American hops. Flavor profile wise, it's a little bit more oily and sweet in its malt base, and the fruits are a little bit more oily and sweet as well.
Which would make sense for Y Market.
Yeah. And the English barley wines, the original ones, tend to be a little bit more kind of dry and toasty in their brown sugar, and their fruits are a little bit more kind of dry as well. Oh, I just lost my plastic, my little sticker thing. The wind got it. Yeah. So yeah, colour wise, this beer, I think blood orange.
Sure.
Like ambery blood orange.
Yeah.
This one, it came out with a half finger of a frothy kind of cream coloured head. You can see that a bit better on Jordan's one there. But yeah, lovely kind of rich amber colour. If I put my hand behind the glass there, you can see I think Jordan's one actually is a bit more true to colour on the camera.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But yeah, not much in the way of visible carbonation with this beer at all, to be honest with you. It is quite clear, actually, I would say as well. So
I just wanted to ask a question. So with barley wines, I'd always sort of imagined that they tended to be aged a bit. Is that my own imagination, or?
Doesn't have to be, but I think they have to get a decent flavour out of them. You need to leave them at least like 6 months, I would say.
Okay, yeah.
But barley wines, I found also, if you leave them more than 2.5 years, you start to get this kind of skunky, hoppy character of them, because it is quite a hop-forward beer. They don't age as well as barley wines and more malty-leaning beers. So yeah, drinking a barley wine between sort of 6 months and 2 to 2.5 years, I think, is the best. But yeah, I don't think we need to say anything else about the appearance of this one. Let's have a wee look at the malty side then. Or the aroma, not the malty side. The malt's the thing that's going to jump out, but...
Yeah, it's true.
Oh yeah.
Definitely is malty.
A few beers in, the brain's a bit slow, you know. That's lovely. I would say as well, this is not the most punchy aroma we've had.
No, it isn't.
From Y Market. It's actually quite subtle. Yeah.
I was expecting a little boozier and more impact. Yeah.
I would say it's it almost feels a little bit less aggressive than, than psychedelic or lupulin nectar.
Lupulin nectar.
Hysterical, sorry, yeah.
Hysteric IPA or lupulin nectar.
It feels a little bit more subtle than them, in all honesty.
Aroma-wise, I think both lupulin and hysteric have more punch to them.
Yeah, exactly. This one's actually very soft and very juicy and almost quite wet in its aroma, to be honest.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you're going to get a hell of a bit of flavour out of this, but the aroma is very, very, very subtle, for sure. I mean, for me, sweet brown bread.
Yeah, I'm getting brown. Definitely brown.
You get the bread crust and the bit of cracker that you always get. But yeah, sweet like wholemeal brown bread. Definitely some white bread as well. The brown sugary notes in this one are quite interesting. I mean, quite often with barley wines, breweries will give them a longer boil to give you that more leathery, complex, brown sugary type character. This one doesn't come across like that. It has a bit more of a toasty brown sugar, a sweet caramel, and a little bit of that Werther's Original Butter Candy Butterscotch. It doesn't smell more sweet than Hysteric IPA did, I don't think.
It smells exactly like, for anyone who's familiar with Japanese types of Japanese bread, kokuto pan. It's like brown sugar bread.
Oh, right.
It's a very standard sort of elementary school lunch, kid's favorite. It smells exactly like that. Actually.
Yeah. I mean, a wee bit of biscuit, a wee bit of sweet caramel.
Yeah, that's what it smells like, basically.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say the aroma of this one is not the most complex that we've had. I mean, the Nat Musique had a lot more complexity to it than this. Yeasty side of things, again, quite white bready, quite, kind of white bready, a little bit crackery maybe. The green part of the hop in this, grassy all the way.
Grassy, yeah. That's all I'm getting.
If you take the aroma in a little bit more deeply, a little touch floral, mainly like kind of freshly cut grass.
Yeah, I'm getting freshly cut grass. That's pretty much all I'm getting on that note, on the green side.
And the fruity side of things for me, I mean, it's Mosaic and Simcoe in this one. So I get, I would have, I get like quite a bit of like pear and sultana.
Definitely a raisiny kind of smell, yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
Tiny little bit of like blackcurrant or fig. There's a very slight red fruity note to this one, but I do get some of the tangerine orange, and I do get like a little bit of like dried apricot or pineapple or something.
Sure, candied pineapple or something.
Something like that, yeah. But I'm quite surprised that the aroma of this one is quite so subtle, to be quite honest with you.
In my experience with barley wines, which is not very extensive, I haven't had a large number of barley wines. They tend to have a lot of impact right away. Like, wow, like this is going to be. But I'm not getting a really powerful impact from this. It's very subtle.
Yeah. I think we should just try this
and
see what it's all about.
I really want to try it, yeah.
Big thank you to Jordan again for joining us for this video. We will time travel very soon, so we'll do that.
All right.
But yeah, there you go. Slange it.
Cheers.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
It's good. I think the subtle aroma, actually, the flavor comes through more than the aroma, so it's like a really pleasant surprise. It's really just...
Yeah. I'm just surprised. I mean, again, like Jordan said, impact is a good way to talk about barley wines. And this beer does have a good punch to it when you take it in.
Yeah.
It almost has a bit of a kind of like my Doppelbock type character. That more... I mean, this is not the most... This isn't the most American feeling beer almost. It does have a little bit more of that German or Japanese subtlety to it in a way. I mean, if you gave me this blind, I really might be tempted to say this is like a Doppel-Maibock or my Doppelbock, whatever you're going to call it.
Black licorice. I
can see why you would say that. Yeah. Yeah. I can actually see why you would say that, in honesty. Yeah, this is really interesting. I mean, after 4,000 odd sit-down reviews, you want beers that test your palate, and this one does it. I'm going to say straight away, I like this, and that's always the main point with a beer. Do you like it or do you not?
I like it.
And I like it, for sure. But let's try and describe what's going on here. Yeah, this beer is somewhere between like an English barley wine and like a German Doppelmaibock or Mai Doppelbock, however you want to describe it. Backbone of the beer, fresh white bready bread crust. As you move further forward on the palate, there is that little bit of woodiness in there that you very often get. That comes out into the aftertaste. You've got a layer of a nice, fresh, like wholemeal brown bread. Then quite a dense and slightly sweet layer of white bread, for sure. Above that, a very slight toasty brown sugar. Then above that, you have like a kind of Werther's original butter candy, butterscotchy sort of thing. And in the dead center of your palate, you have this like straight up sweet caramelly sort of thing. What Jordan was saying about licorice, it's kind of mixed in with that brown sugary. We're getting the noisy bike. This seems to be a thing in every Japanese city. You get a biker that just doesn't go very fast, but just wants to make a lot of fucking noise.
All about the amount of noise they can make. That's
I've seen that in Osaka so many times. So it exists in Nagoya as well.
Even in the small town I live in, we get sometimes just one guy, sometimes 2 or 3, and they just ride around in circles. And the police actually follow them, but the police won't actually stop them.
Oh.
So we have like these 3 or 4 guys on bikes making as much noise as possible, and a police car very carefully following them at a safe distance.
It's so pointless, but yeah.
Anyway,
the licorice thing, right? The licorice thing, yeah, right.
Back to the beer.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the brown sugary note, it has this kind of licoricey vibe to it almost. So yeah, you've got like a toasty brown sugary base, Werther's original butter candy, butterscotch, sweet caramel in the middle. It's this barley wine has not had such a long wort boil. That's definitely for sure.
Okay.
Because you'd have more leather and more dryness out of it.
It's not very leathery.
There's a very slight nuttiness to this one into the aftertaste as well.
Roasted almonds or something.
Yeah, this one in fairness, that could work. Almonds, yeah. In fairness, one thing I would say about this beer too, this could just pass for like a very, very strong American West Coast IPA. It could really, like West Coast double IPA, it could really pass for something like that. But into the aftertaste, I see where Jordan's getting this nutty kind of character from. Yeasty side of the beer, the back third of the palate, more of a grainy brown bread.
Okay.
White bready note on top and a bit of bread crust. You know. What do you think about the green component and the fruit in this one?
Well, yeah, for me, all I'm really fruit-wise, I mean, I'm still picking up the what is it? Fig, or not fig, dates.
I can get that. Yeah.
Dates and raisins, that kind of flavor.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the green component, there's definitely a bit of earthiness there. As you come further forward on this one, there's a lot of early edition hop in this for sure. This does have a bit of bitterness, and obviously, the longer you let the barley wine age, the more that will drop away and kind of mellow out. But yeah, there's earthiness in there. There's a bit of piney resin coming further forward. You do have that little bit of floral aromatic spice on the front corners of your palate, round the front curve of the tongue. More grassy and zesty. And then the front third of your palate's all about the fruity part of the beer. So I agree with what you said a second ago about the dates. Sultana and pear as well in this one, definitely, yeah. dried apricot too.
Okay, sure. Dried fruits.
That's the Simcoe. I think all of these things we're talking about are Simcoe.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you go into the front half of that, like kind of front third of your tongue, it's the orange. That's the mosaic, and the earthiness from the green components, the mosaic as well. Yeah. So this one, I will say, I think at this point when we were drinking this is maybe a bit too fresh.
It needs a little more time to mellow out.
I think this is something. If I was going to say to Y Market, keep this for another couple of months.
Yeah, sure.
And then release it. I think, because I get the impression that it's just a little bit too. This would be a lot better in maybe 6 months.
Okay, sure.
It's not
yeah.
bad. Like it's not bad.
It's good. But
it's not bad, and it's good. But I think a barley wine in its very early stages tastes a bit like a German Maibock. If you let it mellow out for about 6 months, the brown sugars kind of sweeten up a little bit. The hoppy greenness just drops back a bit, and the fruits sort of. They just oil up a little bit more. So I have a feeling that this is quite fresh, and maybe they should just age it that little bit more and then serve it.
That makes sense.
So I think I bought a can of this one, so I think I'm going to keep this for a couple of months and then review it again and just see if that holds. But it's enjoyable. It's
definitely a good beer.
There's nothing wrong with this,
No.
but I just think you could get more out of it with a bit more age on it. I think so.
Yep, sure.
I think that's fair. Anything else you would add to the flavour of that?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, to round off then, mouthfeel wise, full bodied, I don't think there's any question about that. Probably mid-range in full body. I mean, it's not the thickest of beers that I've had, but
still.
Big, oily, slick beast of a beer, this one. Does have a wee bit of carbonation. The IBU in this one has to be about 70 or 80. This does have a fair little bit of pine into the aftertaste, and again, the longer you leave this beer to age, the more you will get out of it like that. For me. So yeah, like I was saying, sort of 70-ish IBUs with this one kind of makes sense, and quite oily, quite nice and slick mouthfeel. Nice oily, fruity, quite citrusy. Anything else we should add with this one?
Nope. I'm good.
No, I think this is good. Yeah. So this was the Yofukashi Queen, a 12% American barley wine. This is our last beer here at Y Market Brewing.
Y Market Kitchen.
Y Market. I was saying Y Market Brewing Kitchen the whole video.
That's technically correct because it is Y Market Brewing and it's their kitchen, so don't worry.
All right. Okay. Right. Well, yeah. Let's.
A 10-minute walk or a 5-minute walk from Nagoya Station. If you're ever at Nagoya Station, just. Check on your mapping application.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Yeah, we'll come back to that in a wee second at the end. So, the Yofukashi Queen, 12% American barley wine. This was quite nice. Catch you guys in a second with a bit of time travel and our final thoughts at the very, very end.
Yes.
Cheers just now. Alright guys, so if you come up to the third floor of Y Market Brewing Kitchen, they have this area here for larger parties, maybe 8+ I think they said. And you can book this out, 60,000 yen for 3 hours, and it includes free flow drinks and food and things. And it's pretty snazzy, I have to say. You can do your barbecue and stuff out here and just have a nice time. I have to say, this is a really nice venue. The camera work that I'm doing just now isn't really doing it justice. But this is a really, really nice venue, I have to say. There you can see more of the barbecues out there. But this is a really, really nice venue, and 60,000 yen's maybe about 300 sterling, something like that. Beautiful venue, actually. You have to say that for Japan. They always do some really nice things. So that's a little quick look at the third floor, the terrace here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Alright guys, well that is the end of the first section of the video. Let's do a little bit of time travel back to 8 hours earlier. I'll catch you in just a second. Okay guys, well as promised we have come to check out the second Y Market Brewing location here in Nagoya. So we are in Hisaya Odori Park, and this place behind me is called Nagoya. So Y Market Brewing at Nagoya. But it's pretty cool actually. So I think we'll just have one beer here and I'll show you what the place looks like, and then we will return to the main video for my final thoughts on both places. Let's get started. Alright guys, well there is the exterior of Nagoya, and it's in this really nice kind of strip park, like I said, Hisaya Odori Park, and we're actually right next to the Chubu electric tower, which I believe is now called the Mirai Tower or Future Tower, although it might be a name of a company, I'm not 100% sure. But this is a really nice little area of Nagoya actually. Quite a lot of Japanese cities have a kind of strip park like this. I remember Sapporo having a place like this, and it was really nice to just walk down it. But yeah, here you can see Nagoya, and then you have your little exterior menu here. We'll have a little closer look at that inside, of course, and then you come in and there is Y Market Brewing. So yeah, we can do that. Let's just pause for a second here. Alright guys, so just a little closer look at the tap list here then at Nagoya. So yeah, up here you can see Purple Sky Pale Ale, then the Yellow Sky Pale Ale, Hysteric IPA, Lupulin Nectar, Harlequin of Hazy, the Strong Golden Ale Farm Hop, then the Loop Station Red, the Rainy Jacket Beer, Tex 1.1 I guess, Nachtmusik, the Weizen Doppelbock, the Sushi Saui, which is a Shiso French Saison, the Poolquins Kimuri Tea Saison, which is cool, Top Water IPA, then the Cara Orca Dry Hop Lager, the Citrus Imitation, the White Suzukaze, which seems quite interesting, then the Hazy IPA Melon Milkshake, the Brew Kettle number 3, the Apple Abbey Honey, and then they've got 2 sakes on tap as well. So quite an extensive tap list here, and of course they have the tap list menu as well, but I think it's nicer to show you this one, and it's a bit easier for me to read as well. But that is your tap list here at Nagoya on the 27th of December 2024. There you go. Alright guys, well this is actually our first beer of the day, because the OG Y Market Brewing place didn't open until 2 or 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock. Yeah, so we decided to come and check out Nagoya. So you'll be seeing this beer review later in the video, but actually this will be the first one of the day for us. So yeah, we decided to go for the Loop Station Red. So the main reason for this is that Jordan and I both love red ales, yes. And yeah, we thought this is a nice place to start. And if you know, it's kind of a semi-unwritten rule on the channel that if the opportunity to drink red ale, Scotch ale, or Doppelbock appears, or Rauch beer as well, it does not get turned down, if you like. So yeah, this one, Loop Station Red, 6% ABV, American red ale. Not a style that I come across all that often these days anymore. But yeah, I have to say, Y Market Brewing, in my experience, they've always got a nice little bit of a malty edge to their beers, like an oily sweetness, and that's one of the things that kind of attracts me to
and you notice it right away in this, it jumps out at you.
Exactly. But yeah, when this beer poured, it had a nice finger of a frothy, I would say kind of like fawn cream coloured head. You can see the colour of this one. I'm not sure if I put my hand behind it, if it makes a difference. You can see it has got this lovely sort of deep amber, blood orange type colour. It is very, very red. A little bit of carbonation visible going up toward the top of the glass there, and it is pretty clear actually. I'm not sure how well. You guys can see it pretty well there, I can see that. But yeah, nothing else really to say about the appearance of this one. Remember, the colour of your beer depends on a few things. One, the type of malts that you use. Two, the length of your wort boil is going to play a role. And any barrel aging that you do or adjuncts you put into it is going to do there as well. Looks like a UFO. Right. But yeah, nothing else to say about the appearance of this one. Let's have a wee look at the aroma. Let's do it.
Love that smell.
Orange and caramel.
Yeah.
Orange and caramel. And that's, for me, that's what you want from a red IPA. I'll bet you anything. This is like, it's probably Cascade, Amarillo, and maybe a little bit of Chinook. There's something like very, very classic about the kind of hoppy, the fruity side of this beer. So, what's your first impression?
Yeah, I'm very bright orange. Just orange peel, orange juicy, orange tangerine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For me, backbone of this beer, I always like to start with a malty side. And for me, I think it's got German malt in it because you can smell that little bit of dryness in the bread. Okay. So like fresh kind of brown bready bread crust. There's a teeny little bit of wood and a teeny little bit of cracker, as you very often get. And then above that, there's a mix of like wholemeal brown bread, fresh white bread as well. And then it's got a little bit of, there's like toasty caramel in there.
Yeah, definitely, I can smell that.
But then you've got a more oily, sweet caramel as well. There's got to be like, you know, maybe Cara Munich or something like that in here. Yeah, I want to say, I think there's Cara Munich or straight up caramel in this one, actually. There's something just very familiar about the malt basis. I can't. You've had this one a couple of times before, no?
No, I think this is my first time. You know what? Now that I'm saying it, I think I did order it about 2 years ago. And
I can't remember if I've had this one, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure I've had it at the as you called it, the OG, the OG.
The OG pub, yeah. But yeah, sweet caramel in there. The yeasty part at the back of the nose, I think, is more kind of white bready as well. The yeasty side of the beer.
Okay.
White bready, maybe a little touch of brown bread and cracker and stuff. And hoppy wise, I want to say there's probably Mosaic and Amarillo in this.
I think so too, because those are the hops that I generally use when I've done brewing, and it definitely has that aroma. So.
Yeah, because I was thinking Amarillo, because Amarillo is going to give you that more oily orange. But at the same time, the Mosaic, you get a little bit of earthiness out of Mosaic, and you can smell it. There's a teeny bit of earthiness to this one. So I think Mosaic and Amarillo in here.
I love the combination.
But the green component, yeah, earthy, mostly floral, not really piney, I would say. And there's a good bit of grassy zestiness in there, which again, I think that makes me think Mosaic. The fruity side of the beer, as we said earlier, orange. But I think I get a little bit of like sultana in there, this kind of like, you know, dry white green grape. Do they call them sultanas in Canada?
Actually no. I just green grapes.
Just green grapes, dry, yeah. So because raisins are the dried red ones for me, and sultanas are the dried white ones.
I see. When we dry them, I think we might actually say sultana raisins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, for me, that sultana note, that makes me think Cascade, because it's got that oily pear sultana type quality.
Okay, so, I hadn't made the connection, but now that you say that, Cascade hops do have that.
Yeah, so I think that, because there's that wee touch of grapefruit in there as well, but very, very subtle. It's that oily pear sultana thing that comes out from Cascade. But it's really, you know, telling you all this stuff, it smells beautiful, and I think we're both very tempted to just get stuck in this.
I'm having a problem not drooling here. It smells so good.
It's good, and as I say, we love red ales. But yeah, our first beer of the day, but who knows what number of beer this is going to be in this Y Market video. Slanja, can't buy.
Yeah, can't buy.
Ooh, more bready and light than I thought it was going to be.
This is actually not what I expected. As you said, bready, yeah, true.
Yeah, this beer it actually smells a lot sweeter and more oily than it is. It's actually got a little bit more.
It's quite clear.
Yeah, it's
very clear flavor.
very clean and quite easy to drink. Yeah. I like this. I do like how this goes actually.
Definitely would be good with food. So some of their beers, Wine Market, as we often talk about, Japanese beers tend to be on the lighter, clearer side and better with food.
Yeah.
Wine Market, not necessarily. A lot of their beers are quite heavy and sometimes a little bit on the overbearing side for Japanese beers. But this, for me, is definitely on the light side of the Wine Market beers.
Yeah, but this, I would say, I don't know, I often find with breweries as well, you notice little trends in their brewing, and Wine Market for me have always been a little bit sweeter in their malts.
Yes.
This one, it might just be the tap conditioning right enough, or the keg conditioning, however you want to call it. It might just be that, but the cans that you get from Wine Market always have this lovely oily sweetness. But this is definitely a bit drier than
It's drier than I expected.
yeah, and on the basis of that, of course, I've never tried Wine Market on tap as far as I can remember. This is definitely drier, so it will be interesting to see what we say about the other beers that you will see before. So yeah,
This is a time travel video.
a time travel video. This one, yeah. But yeah, the backbone of the beer, brown bready across for me. A little bit of a more woody character into the aftertaste.
I didn't get that so much from the aroma, but I'm getting it now with the flavor.
There's definitely a wee bit of like a, for me I would call it Jacob's cream cracker. There's a little bit of that cream crackery type note. It's definitely more brown bready in the flavour than the aroma was a bit more white bready, but the flavour is definitely more kind of brown wholemeal sort of bread. What else could we say? There's less caramel as well than I was thinking there would be. You get a little bit of like toasty caramel. In the middle of your palate, there's a wee bit of an oily bubble as well. You do get a little touch of booziness out of this beer.
A little, yeah.
Nice winter beer actually.
It is nice.
A nice one because it's a little bit of kind of grainy. It does lean toward that grainy, almost spicy thing. This would be a nice winter beer. Actually reminds me of the Heidelberger Winter beer that I used to drink in Heidelberg in Germany. It's kind of like that, except that was a lager, a winter lager. Yeah, the yeasty side of the beer, for me, more brown bready, crackery, grainy, like the back third of your palate, it shows you that more grainy, crackery, yeasty side.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of that in the aroma too, that home-baked bread kind of yeastiness to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do like. I like this one. As I say, it's just not quite what I expected. Yeah, what do you think about the hoppy side of it?
I mean, as you said earlier, definitely the Amarillo, Mosaic Cascade range.
I think it's the green component for me. There is quite a bit of earthiness to this, and that, Mosaic for me. And as you move further forward, there's a wee bit of like on the sides of your palate. There's earthiness at the back. It's a little bit more herbal. There, and then as you reach the front corners of the tongue, more floral, I would say, but then quite grassy and slightly zesty into the aftertaste.
Quite a nice balance of flavors going on here. There isn't one, for me, like the aroma really was dominated by that orange, bright orange flavor, but it's quite a balanced flavor.
Yeah, that's it. So let's round off with a wee look at the fruity side of the beer. Front third of your palate's where you're going to get most of the fruity side of the beer, and that nice oily bubble. This is where the fruity esters will roll out. So of course underneath that you've got the bread crust, the cracker and the bread, all the other things we've talked about. What would you think about what fruits are you getting?
Yeah. Getting a bit of pear. Pear for sure. What do you get?
I get I think the orange comes out into the aftertaste. The tangerine and the orange comes out into the aftertaste. But then, yeah, further back, at the back of that front third of the palate, for me, there's grapefruit. That makes me think, and into the aftertaste, you actually get a little bit of pine. I think Chinook. I do think there's Chinook in there. And that's going to give you that more aggressive bitterness. But I do think there's Cascade in this too. So as you come further forward from that grapefruit, you've got nice oily pear. There's a little bit of, you've got a little bit of that oily pear. You've got a little touch of the, I would say, like sultana type flavours, and then into the front half of that front third of your palate, you've got more of the like tangerine orangey.
What about something like apricot?
Oh yeah, no, there's in the middle of it, yeah. I'm getting dried apricot, yeah, for sure.
Dried apricot, yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, I would say the oily pear on top and dried apricot underneath, right in the middle.
That's kind of what I was getting.
Yeah. I think that's everything we really need to say about the flavour. Anything to add?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Mouthfeel wise, like we said, for me, it's a mid-bodied beer. The carbonation, that's it. Does have a little bit of a prickle.
I mean, it's a little higher than average, I would say, for carbonation. But it's mid.
Yeah. Got a little bit of carbonation to it. You see, this beer's a bit drier into the aftertaste, and it shows you more bitterness. I want to say this is maybe 70, 80-ish IBUs. It doesn't smell like it's going to be that bitter.
It doesn't. But it does have a good bitter finish.
I'd say 70 or 80 IBUs. So yeah, there's a good little bit of that in there. The malt is, as we say, drier underneath, smoother in the middle, sweeter on top, oily fruitiness, a bit citrusy and zesty leaning.
It's interesting. Yeah. They list it as 32 IBUs, but it's got to be higher than that.
I think this is higher than that.
It's got to be.
It's got to be 30, because 30 IBUs is sort of Pilsner level bitterness.
It's not.
This feels more bitter than that, to be honest. But yeah, no, I think we've said everything we need to about this one. Happy with that?
Yeah. It's a good, very balanced, easy to drink beer. It's good.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to try a canned version and see if it does still have that sweeter. That sweeter thing that we were talking about. But I think this is a nice place to start the day, of course. And of course, yeah, we'll go to the OG place. After this, we're going to go to the OG place, but you'll have seen that already. So, yeah, I think that's everything for this one. And I'll catch you guys in a second with something a wee bit different. Cheers. Alright, guys, so we arrived just a little bit before the lunch service ends, so we were lucky enough to be able to show you a little bit of the lunch menu. Don't know if we're really going to eat anything, but still cool to let you see the menu at least. But yeah, you can get a few different sets here, about 12 to 1400 Japanese yen, so that's maybe about £6 to £7 sterling, something like that, maybe about $8-9 American, just roughly. But yeah, you've got tuna, deep fried chicken, chasu and egg, which is like Cantonese style pork, pork steak, hamburger steak, deep fried pork loin cutlet, which I have to admit I really enjoy. Then you've got mackerel over charcoal as well, and yeah, it includes rice, miso soup, salad and side dishes, so pretty good value, I have to say. I didn't see how big the portions were, but yeah. And over here they have their regular food menu. So yeah, they've got chilled tofu, tomato salad, fermented potato salad, pickled cabbage, tuna, salted squid netto, pickled Chinese yam. Sounds kind of interesting. I think these are the little kind of bites. If you look at the prices there, these are just the kind of nibbles, if you like. They've got some dressed vegetables with soy sauce, pickled Napa cabbage, that sounds interesting, pickled cucumber, kimchi, salt pickled Boruto guts with red pepper, that sounds very interesting. Stir-fried Edam salted fish butter, and deep fried chicken seaweed roll, and then just some regular French fries. So yeah, quite an interesting array of things on the menu here at Nagoya. So there you are. So yeah guys, just a little look at the interior of Nagoya. Up here you can see all the taps for the beer, and then some of the menus. Up here all the different pale ales and things, and then yeah, here they've got a few interesting fermenting things, I think, actually, so that looks kind of cool. But then Jordan and I have been chilling over here And this empty glass is the review you will see in just a little second. So more time travel in the time travel section of the video. There you go. So yeah guys, there are some cans available to buy here. So let's have a little quick look at these then. I'll see if I can stand right behind. There you've got your Purple Sky Pale Ale. You've got your Yellow Sky Pale Ale. You've got, I think, your Fresh Hop beer. Down here, Nachtmusik, the Weizen Doppelbock, Lupulin Nectar, one of the classic Y Market ones actually, Hysteric IPA. Then you've got the Fruits American Pale Ale. The After Rain Comes Fair Weather, which is a kind of fruit lager from what I see. They've got the Field Style Top Water IPA. I'm not sure how well you can see that. Then down here, the Cara Orca Dry Hop Lager. The Dolphins Craft Goku Goku, which is an American IPA. Indie Label Saison. The Shiso French Saison. The Japanese Noodle Wheat Ale, which sounds very interesting. Then down here, I don't know how the reflection's a bit bad. You can see Hazy of Harlequin, the Loop Station Red, which we drank on tap here. They have the barley wine, which I'm very much looking forward to trying, and the Brew Kettles Golden Stout, Hopping Shachi, and Midnight Sol Midnight Sun Fake Lager. So yeah, a nice little selection of cans here in the fridge at Nagoya. So yeah, happy with that. Alright guys, well that is our time over then here at Y Market Brewing Kitchen in Nagoya, Aichi here in Japan. So this video was quite interesting. There was a bit of time travel in this one because before coming here, we went to Y Market Brewing Nagoya just for one beer and to see what it was all about. That was quite interesting because they had more of a kind of trendy seafood type menu. But then coming here, it's a little bit more like American pub food, as you put it.
So this is their original location. This is their original brewing site, and this is their original beer bar.
Yeah,
beer pub.
Just behind us you can see their original brewing facility. They do of course have a bigger production facility now that does the majority of their capacity. But yeah, I mean, all in all, we had a really nice time here. I think between the two venues, we spent, what, 12,000 yen here and maybe 2,000 yen at the other place, just, you know, for 1 pint each. So yeah, in total, that is about £70 sterling, maybe about 700 Hong Kong dollars, 900 Swedish kroner, 90 euros, $100 American, something like that, just to give you a price reference. But for what we had 2 meals basically. We had a lot of different beers. I tried 5, you tried 4 here, then we had 2 pints at the other place. I think that was pretty good value.
It was.
All in all, they looked after us very well in both places. It was a little bit confusing here because there was a lot of reservations. We came in, there's a lot of parties and stuff going on.
December 27th.
Yeah, we're here to December 27th, yeah.
Japanese New Year's starts, or the end of year and New Year's holiday starts tomorrow. And this is the major holiday of the year actually in Japan. So basically from tomorrow is when everyone in Japan starts having end of year parties, beginning of year parties. It's really that season. So today is like, you know, people who took the afternoon off before the official holidays start, they kind of start today, which is actually quite a few people.
Yeah, exactly.
So we came, it's supposed to open at 3 o'clock. We came in at 3:30 and it was packed.
It was pretty packed already. But yeah, I mean, so we were a bit confused because we didn't reserve a table. We didn't think to do that, to be quite honest. But they still looked after us very well. We ended up out in the cold for quite a bit, but being Canadian and Scottish, Swedish,
we're good.
We managed it, and the beer warmed us up quite a little bit. All the beers were good quality as well. So yeah, we had a nice time, and this is something we've been talking about doing for quite a wee while. So it was nice to finally get it over the line as well. That's the other thing. So yeah, this is one of the kind of must-do places in the Nagoya beer scene. I guess we could say it's the place that kind of started it all off as well.
I think so.
Actually, I think that's fair to say when it comes to Nagoya as well. So yeah, positive experience at Y Market Brewing. Come and check it out for yourselves. You'll have a good time. Yeah, anything else to add?
No, it's seriously, if you're ever in the Nagoya station area and you have an hour to kill, like it's a 10-minute walk. You can come in and get a beer. It's great. I totally recommend it.
Go for Lupulin or
Lupulin Nectar or the Hysteric IPA.
Those are two of the classics, absolutely. So let's leave it at that for this. And once again, thank you for watching my beer videos. Make sure you check out Jordan, who has just renamed his channel Jordan in Japan.
It's actually still Jordan the Inside Outsider in Japan.
I thought you'd renamed it Jordan.
Should I rename it? Is it too long? Anyway, Jordan
you should.
Inside Outsider in Japan at this point. If you look up Jordan,
whatever, they'll find the link in the description.
You'll find the link.
You'll find the link in the description below. Always nice filming with Jordan. Loves his beer. More videos from Nagoya coming up very, very soon. So I'll catch you guys with something else. Check out Jordan's channel. Check out my other stuff. See you guys very, very shortly. Ciao just now.